now I want to talk about manipulating objects in Unreal Engine. So I made this little cheat sheet so you could kind of easily figure out how to go about manipulating objects. So objects or assets are anything that you put in your Unreal Engine that you want to maneuver or change or modify in any kind of way. And there's some easy buttons that help you do this. And so the first one, so it's easier, this is kind of the cheat sheet and I'll go over them in detail in the Unreal Engine. First thing we want to do is add a shape so that we can manipulate it and play with it. So I'm just going to add this cone. So again, you just click and drag it out and you can see now it is placed in the level. I'm going to make the window go back down. So you can see now we have this, and if you look up here and I can hit Q, Q is just the pointer and it says, like, it puts a outline on whatever object you select. And it's kind of just for, you can get information. So if you look over here, we also have the outliner, right? So it highlights that. So if I pick something else, it'll change what it has in the outliner. And it also updates the details over here. And so again, if you don't have the details tab up, that would be under window and details, and make sure that that one is showing. So that's how you'd get it back if it's not there. And so you can see it has information about the object that I have selected. So I have this cone that we added, and so you can see it has the static mesh that it is. It has these coordinate systems that are associated with it. It tells you the mobility, is it static, stationary, or movable? So maybe we want it to be movable. You can change that, everything. And so there's a lot of variables that go along, or details that go along with this object. So that's just selecting the object. The next one over is the select and translate the object. You could either click on this little button here, or I could hit W and it will, like, so I'm on Q right now, and then I hit W, it automatically selects the object, and you can see now it has arrows that are pointing out from it. And what these arrows are is associated with the location of where the object is. And so you can see up here you have location, and it's telling you where that is. I can then use these arrows to move that, and you'll notice so that the location, the X is now at 1200, and so I can change it here to 1100, and that moves it back. Or if I want to move the Z, I can move this one. It moves it up and down. I can also move this one, so like 10 goes up, 0 down. Or this is the X, so I can make it 1200 or 1000. And you can move it around either that way, or I can move it using the arrow keys. You could also select the center portion, and I can move it anywhere I want, and it's not just around one of the axes. So as long as you know which way you're moving it and how you want it to move, using the different arrows helps make it more precise. Putting in the values here makes it even more precise. And if you just want it to be in a certain place and you don't want to have to deal with trying to move it around, like say I want this now on top of the brick over here, right? I could just do that. One of the things to be aware of is you can see now the shadow is here, and it's because even though I moved it over here and it looks like it might be on these blocks over here, it's not actually there. It's kind of the joys of 3D. So if I move my viewpoint around, you can see that it's not there. And so now I can show that it is actually laying on that brick. And again, I could hit F to make myself get closer to it, so if I want it to be focused on it. So the next one we're going to look at is select and rotate, which is E. So if I select E, it will do that. You see now I have these arches that are all around it. So there's one around the bottom and on each side. And what this does is goes with the rotation. So it gives you degrees on how you want this rotated. So you can see I'm rotating it around and I'm changing the red value, right? And I can change it around the yellow value, or I could change it around the blue value. And if I wanted to, like, I could change these back, like, so to 0 and 0 and 0, right? To make it go back the way it was and not be moved at all. Or say I want to make it 45, 45, 45. So now it's kind of like laying on its side, right? So again, just like the other one, the location spot, this is just the way to change it for a rotation. And we'll put it back just because it makes it a little easier. Now we're going to go to the last one, which is the scalable one. And so that would be using R or clicking that button. And you'll see that instead of arrows that you had on the translate, right, which is location, this one has little squares on it. And what that means is it's going to allow you to change the size of the cone. And so if I click on any one of the indexes, like, I can make them bigger or smaller. And it changes the dimensions, the scale of the object. Now if I click on the center, I could do them both, all of them at one time. And again, you could change them all over here as well in the with the actual values. So if I wanted to put it back at 1, right, I can't. So that's playing around with this. Another fun feature of if I put it back on this one, the scale, if I click and hold the R button while I'm clicking and dragging things, it will automatically duplicate whatever I'm making. So click and hold and get another one. Click and hold and I get another one. So you could get as many of these as you want. And again, you could just click on it and delete to get rid of it. So that's kind of some of the fun features of manipulating the objects inside Unreal Engine.